Wherever it is, Chris, Evermore podcast, Newcastle United podcast, Evermore YouTube channel. Back with another Rumour Has It video. I haven't done these for a couple of days. Transfers have been slowing down a little bit. We know who we're linked to recently, but I think as the window comes to the last kind of 3 weeks or so, there's going to be a hell of a lot more names thrown out there. So we're going to try and get as many of these videos done as for as many players as we're linked to who we think we've got a chance for. So before I do a little bit of housekeeping, if you haven't already, please click that like and subscribe button. We'd love you to help us get to 1,500. I think we're only about 8 short now or something. So if you haven't, please hit the button, hit the notification bell. You won't miss any of the videos, the weekly podcast we do, what's going on Monday, the Evermore show on Wednesday, and obviously any Rumour Has It videos or match previews and reviews that just pop up on the channel like this. So before we crack on any further then, we are looking for players in these positions. It's obviously key. I think we had a great result of the day. But you could see from the bench that the quality was lacking in terms of squad depth. There wasn't really many players to come off the bench to make an impact in that game. We're massively are short still, I think, in terms of a backup striker and players for the wide positions as well, which is what we'll talk about this player now, as well as an update on another player that we have been linked to, who has indicated that he wants to leave his club. So the first one we're going to talk about is this player here, who is Bamba Dieng, Senegalese international, African Cup of Nations winner, actually, who plays for Marseille. Now, predominantly plays through the middle, but he can play anywhere across the front three. And the lad is a really, really talented player. He's 22 years old. He's that perfect kind of age. As PK always says, a young player who wants to learn off Callum Wilson and eventually take over his position as the number 9, but not somebody who's going to demand to be the starting player right now, which I think is what happened with Ekitike. So he's 5'10", right-footed predominantly, very, very quick, very, very strong. Very instinctive finisher, as Mark's put in there. Finishing is his biggest strength and counter threat with that blistering pace. He can actually track back as well and get stuck in terms of challenges, so he's pretty decent there. He's not the best passer or crosser of the ball. He's more of a finisher, I think, than a creator. But you can see in his key statistics there, in terms of his goals, he's in the 92 percentile. So 8 goals and 2 assists in 36 appearances, 19 as a sub. You can see his shots as well there. He's 3.61 shots per 90 minutes, so he's in the 98 percentile. He's not scared to pull the trigger, the lad. And shots on target, 48% of his shots are on target, so he's in the 93rd percentile. He actually wins quite a few aerial duels as well, to be honest with you, regardless of, being kind of 5'10". Everyone thinks you've got to be 6'4" to win headers, but if you've got a good leap, you'll win a few headers like this lad has, to be fair to him. And he's fit as a fiddle, stamina, never seems to tire, kind of from that Senegalese kind of Mane type school of just utter graft from minute 1 to minute 90. So he would be a real good asset, I think, to the squad if we were to bring him in and obviously give us someone that can play across the front three. Like Callum Wilson, he can find space behind the back four. He's got great movement and he's a very innovative striker. Some of the finishes that he pulls off, overhead kicks and side-footed volleys with his wrong foot and stuff like that. So he's very, very exciting prospect if we can get this lad in. He's been doing really well for Marseille, since he kind of broke into the team, playing along leg sides of, Payet from West Ham and people like that. But I mean, he is massively linked to a lot of clubs as well. I think West Ham are interested in him. Leeds needs some more attacking threat. They're interested in him. I think Frank Lampard, Everton's looking at him as well. But if Newcastle really want to go after this lad and, and make a fist of it, then they should really be doing this now. And I think we were linked to him in January, but I think we saw it as a bit of a gamble. The reported fee then was 12.5 million. So I think from what I've seen of the lad, 12.5 million, 30 million is an absolute snip. I think you could fit into this squad really well. As I said, there's a bit of a similarity with a Mane type style. He obviously plays for the national team of Mane. He's had 11 caps and 1 goal. And he's learning from him as well. So it's, it's not a bad guy to learn from, is it, to be fair? Let's be honest with you. So, yeah, I think it should be a great signing if we can bring him in. You can see how he compares next to Callum Wilson on the side there. He's kind of up there for goals, obviously better for assists as well. We've already said this, that kind of Wilson isn't really an assist maker. He's more of an assist taker. So I think this kid could be a real exciting asset to the squad. He could play alongside Wilson. He could play in the front three with Maxi if Miggy was off form. He could play through the middle if Wilson needs rested or he's injured. So, yeah, I think this is a real good signing. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you agree or not, whether you think Bamba Dieng would be a good sign. There's a hell of a lot of clubs after him. So I think if we're going to move, we're going to have to move now. So, yeah, we'll see how this one rumbles on the next kind of 3 to 4 weeks alongside some of the other players that would be linked to as well. But even when we were linked to James Maddison, people were saying we needed a striker. And I think this lad could really fit the bill. Obviously, Maxwell Cornet, whether we had concrete, kind of interest in that or not, but he's obviously on his way to West Ham. Maddison links are still there. Now that could happen. There's even been some ITKs thrown out with the name of Perez as well coming back, but I'm not too sure whether there's any truth in that or not. But there is another player that has been linked to the club. Previously, we've done a Rumour has a video on him before, and it's Chelsea's Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, Hudson-Odoi has turned around and told Chelsea that he wants out of the club. Now, there's a lot of teams that are interested in Hudson-Odoi. Southampton apparently have inquired about taking him on loan, but also on Sky Sports News that apparently him and his representatives are in talks with Borussia Dortmund over a loan deal. So I'm not sure whether Newcastle have interest in this deal or not. I think a lot of this hinges upon the Maddison deal. If Maddison is somebody that we are in a good position to get, then we don't go for Hudson-Odoi. I think the Jack Harrison deal with Leeds, we've been kind of priced out of that. I think Leeds wanted 47 million quid, and I think the club said no, he's not worth that, which I think, to be fair, is probably about right. Decent player, but I don't know if he's worth 47 million quid. If Calvin Phillips for them is worth, what was he, 50? I'm not sure Jack Harrison was as influential in his position as Phillips wasn't his before he got injured, but you could argue that. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. We do sometimes get non-Newcastle fans in the comments as well. But yeah, I think for me, the Maddison deal could depend on what we're going to do with Hudson-Odoi. If he's talking to Borussia Dortmund already and we haven't even bothered to make any kind of contact, then I don't think we're interested. I think we'll be looking at other targets. The fact that Kasper Schmeichel's moved on to Nice, and there was talk about the Dubravka deal. Dubravka was on the bench at the weekend, so we don't know whether Leicester do want Dubravka in as the number one. Obviously, they drew today with Danny Ward, I think, in goal. He's got the new number one shirt where he's going to be the number one for the long term, or Rodgers wants a more established keeper. But yeah, that James Maddison deal I don't think is dead. I think there's still a few more weeks for us to wrap that up. So I'll be keeping an eye on that, as we all will as well. But yeah, with Hudson-Odoi, I'm not sure this one's going to happen, to be honest with you. I mean, it depends on what the lad wants. I mean, if he speaks to Dortmund and he gets the feeling he's got less of a chance to play, but then you see what happened with Sancho going over to Dortmund and what's happening with Bellingham. It seems like a really good place for young English players to develop, and young players in general to develop at Dortmund. They do get game time, and they get game time in the big games, against likes of Bayern Munich. They get game time in the Champions League. So it might be something that Hudson-Odoi wants to do, especially being a World Cup year. If he goes to Dortmund, has a good little spell, he might get himself in the World Cup. But equally, if he stays in the UK and gets a move to Newcastle United and plays week in, week out and is setting up goals for Callum Wilson, then he could also get in the England squad. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I mean, let us know what you guys think, if you think that we're missing a trick by maybe not going in for Callum Hudson-Odoi. It all has seemed to gone very quiet, that one. I don't know whether it was just agents linking us to the club, linking our club to him, to try and get other teams out of the woodwork. You just don't know with these crazy seasons and the way agents play the game. But yeah, I do think that we will see some movement on these next two positions over the coming weeks. Backup striker and somebody who can play wide. Again, it does all hinge if we can pull off a big one like a Maddison. Paquette has also come around again, which I'm sure we'll be talking about him for the next couple of weeks. Any updates on him? They're still bumbling away in the background. I think Bruno was quoted saying he would love to have him at the club, or love to see him in a Newcastle shirt permanently. So yeah, we'll have to watch the space there as well. But one thing's for sure, there's two spaces to fill, I think. A player who can play out wide and a player who can play through the middle. And Eddie Howe has already said that. He said it again, even after a brilliant result against Forest, where we were dominant in the game. I think he even said that, we're still missing one or two, and I want to bring them in. So it'll be a busy few weeks, I'm sure. We'll be linked to loads of players. We'll be back with some more Rumour Has It videos about them, pulling up the stats and running through what we think about them as well, and encouraging you guys to drop us a comment. Let us know what you think as well. We always love to engage with you. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, please click the like and subscribe button. Love to have you on board. We're so close to 1,500. I'd love you to get us there, before we play Brighton, and then onwards and upwards. Keep it evermore. We've got obviously shows coming for you a couple of times a week, as well as little reaction videos and Rumour Has It videos like this. So until then, let's keep supporting that team. We'll call United, and we'll catch you on Monday for what's going on. Cheers now. Bye.